'Tis I, the mighty Thor. Art thou ready for our galactic sojourn, green friend?
Hulk came for a road trip.
Aye, that is what I meant. We shall set forth, two bad dudes of badassery, drinking mead, bedding the ladies, and beating evildoer ass.
Hulk wants s'mores. Goldilocks bringing s'mores?
No. But I brought Asgardian ale, the finest in the 9 realms.
No s'mores? Hulk smash!
Ow! Hang on to your hammers, people. Thou hast joined... Ow! Super Geeks!
All right.
You beat me to it.
You were late.
All right.
No, now he would say, all right. There's like 5, anyway, it doesn't matter.
It was always right at the middle of the end of the music.
I was jamming along to it this time.
Watch the road, George.
Ow.
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing? My name's George Chooch99A, and my friend Magnum, who is hyped up on pain meds today because he just got out of the hospital. How you doing, Magnum?
I'm alive.
That's good. That's good.
That's all that matters. Any day that I wake up is a good day.
That's true. And where can people find you on social media while you're on
You can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Battles.
Cool. And Will, what about you?
I'm pretty good, George. Find me on Twitter at Intrinsicus. That's Intrinsic with the US on the end.
And Ross.
You can find me knee-deep in Overwatch.
And besides that?
Twitter, Subsailor688.
Now, Overwatch is that new game by Blizzard. And even though it's a direct ripoff of Team Fortress 2, I heard that it's really good.
It's inspired by Team Fortress 2. It's not a direct ripoff.
I'm going to say it's a ripoff.
I love how they quantify that. Inspired by.
There is a difference. If something's ripped off, it means they basically literally take everything and they only slightly change it, but it's beat for beat the same game. If it's got a theme similar to it, that you can get away with it. There's a slight line.
I played TF2 back in the day, and playing Overwatch now, they're not the same thing.
That's good. Good to know Blizzard's not going that desperate, because they've been doing pretty good.
How long has it been out? What, 2 days now?
Yep.
And how many hours have you put in? 24?
I played for about 2-3 hours yesterday. Live streamed it. A lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Ross got me to... Go ahead, Ross.
My about a half and half win-loss ratio. Probably more towards the loss side, though.
Well, go ahead, George.
No. Go ahead, Megan.
What's the difference, in your opinion, Ross, between Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch?
Team Fortress 2 is kind of basic. They've only got 5 different classes, and each one fills a very specific role. Overwatch has, I want to say, 16 characters. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to double check. And while they fit into individual classes, none of them are the go-to for that specific class. Each one is different. Each one plays different, and they all feel different. I spent my live stream playing Tracer. She's a offensive class. She has a jump ability where she can quickly zip ahead 3 times. She can rewind time 5 seconds, and she drops a sticky bomb.
Is it an FPS? Team Fortress is FPS, right? First person?
Yes, and
right.
Both Team Fortress and Overwatch are first-person shooters.
Ross got me recently, a little while. He did a live stream he went back into WoW for a little while, and I downloaded it and started getting back into it. I got to jump back into it at some point. WoW is one of those games that I used to love, but my account got hacked and I stopped playing it because it takes a long time to level up. You can play for free up to level 20. So I dived back into it. I was having fun playing a Blood Elf, and that's what Ross was playing. So I watched this post today that our friend Terry Lynn from GNT Show posted, that she was sharing from some person, some female gamer, and she was trying to call out to all the WoW players and this made me laugh. And Ross, you'll probably know which one I'm talking about. She's talking about this chick is talking about how the WoW movie comes out, World of Warcraft movie comes out in a couple of weeks. And she's saying there's probably going to be a lot of people that are going to try the game for the first time because of this movie. And I want to call out to all my fellow community, please don't be jerks to them. Let's help them and make them want to stay in the game because they're not going to know what's going on. They're going to be noobs. They're going to want to play because they saw the movie. And she was trying to be like positive and getting the community to be all, let's be helpful and make them think it's a great community. And I started laughing my ass off because all I kept thinking about was Baron's chat, Ross.
Oh, dear God.
There's no way it's going to happen. Just girls dreaming. There's no way.
It'll depend on what server they go to. And
it'll depend on what
while
level
Baron's
they
chat
are.
is bad, it is not as bad as Horshire.
I know, but no matter which... I've never had a good experience on WoW as far as the community. They've always been jerks.
It depends on what server you're on and what group of people you're with. Yes, general chat is generally a...
You're right, you could get a good guild.
A vile cesspool, but so is general chat in any game.
You got a good point. If you get the right guild, like, for example, Caspian Division over on STO, check them out. If you get a good, or I should say they're called a fleet in Star Trek Online, but if you get a good group to help you, then your gaming experience can be fine. But if you're relying on opinions from the general population, you're screwed. In any MMO. Except for maybe Tor. I have to admit, Tor is the only game I've ever played where the general population of certain servers were very helpful and there was not as much trolling.
I think the worst of the internet trolls reside in League of Legends.
I never played that one, but I've been curious about it. Anyways, yeah, so that sounds cool about that game, Overwatch. I didn't know it was out yet. I'd heard about it, though. So it's been a few days it's been out, you said?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Everybody check that out if you want. Blizzard is, they've got a good reputation. They've got a long history of making good MMOs.
Just good games in general.
Yeah.
There's a reason they take forever to come out.
And there's a reason why they haven't totally converted a WoW to free-to-play completely, because they don't need to. People are still subscribing.
Millions of subscribers.
Yep. They haven't had a reason to jump to the free-to-play bandwagon. They held their ground, and...
It's kind of funny that you're talking about games right at the start, because it's obviously been out for a while, but I just downloaded that Game Dev Tycoon. It's an indie game, but it's like one of those things. I don't know if anybody's played it or not, but it's like $10 on Steam. So I downloaded it. I haven't played. And basically, you basically play as a game developer. You start off, in your garage making these silly games, cheap games. Really? And you work.
What's it called again? Tycoon?
No, it's called Game Dev Tycoon. It's on Steam. It's like $10. Huh. And the graphics, again, it reminded me of the games I used to play, the simple ones that had simple graphics, like a rock star, and you'd work your way up, but you didn't play all the rock bands. It's not like rocks, the music, but you basically get all the gigs, or it was very simple. And you start off and you're in the garage and you type in away and you make this game, comes out, it gets reviewed, and then basically once these little bubbles come up and it starts filling up things with development, technology, and so forth. Once you get enough, you can start doing studies and so forth, and you can get more either titles. There's got a whole list. You got things like horror, civilization.
It sounds very similar to the movies game I used to play by Lion.
Right, but it was one of these. So I'm playing this thing, and it's addictive as hell. I haven't beat it yet. I keep on getting into the second stage, where basically you move out of your garage and you're in a short little base, or a little hotel or office, and you can hire 4 other people. And by that point, I got 5, 6, 7 million. And by that, all of a sudden, my games are not doing very well. I'm using up all my money, and I go bankrupt. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? So it's a fun game, and just talking about Blizzard and these things here. That to me, basically you just work your way up, and like I say,
is it free or do you gotta buy it?
No, you gotta buy it. It's one of those not the indie games, but it's one of those small little private companies, and they're just the Greenlight, or what I think it's called, Greenlight. It's a very good game though. If you just,
probably not expensive at this point, right?
No, it's like $10.
Yeah, I was gonna say $10.
And They use the money to make more of the games and so forth. And it's very simple. Once you've got all of the stuff down, that you got these sliders that you can choose. You got these three when you make a game. You can choose the genre. You can choose you got the different platforms, and they come out. They start off with a computer, and then the Commodore 64, what they call the G64, they kind of call it Commodore. And so you can choose different platforms. Then they come out with the Game Boy. Not the Game Boy, but they call it something else.
Oh, so you start off with floppy disks, and then
you start off with floppy disks, and then it goes into CD-ROMs. And now, like I said, I haven't got past that point yet. And then you can basically, it takes it up to the modern age where you've got modern graphics, and you've got flight controls, flight sims, and you can do MMOs, and you can mix action adventure movies or simulation RPGs, stuff like that. And so, but again, I haven't got past the middle part of the game because I keep on going bankrupt. That's funny.
That's funny. That sounds like a cool kind of nostalgia.
It's a small little cool game. Yeah, I mean, it is. And once you beat it, apparently, you can go back and play different things because you can do different things. But, it doesn't have a lot of repeatability. But again, for $10, it's a nice, cool little game for just whiling away a couple of hours.
Sounds like you need to learn how to manage your money.
Probably. Yes, right. But the thing is, I was doing very well in my garage. Once I get to the office and I have 4 people working with me, because you also have to manage their time. Then you start making larger games, so you have to use them in different parts of your game, whether you want to, for their development, or is it the engine, or is it the graphics? And you don't do very well on that point. You don't get good reviews, and people don't buy the things. And then once they're getting experience, and they're getting raises, and their paychecks going up, and my intake's coming down.
Can you hire hot secretaries and bend them over the desk?
No, I don't think you can do that.
Damn. Well, they would have got my $10, but that part just kills it. All right. So, no, it does sound like an alright game. How long has the game been out?
I don't know how long it's been out. It's been a while.
Years.
A while.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's an older game. Okay.
It's an old game, like I say, but it's like $10 on Steam, and it's fun. I just discovered it, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Cool. All right. Well, so the first thing I want to discuss is based on the skit we did in the beginning here. The reason we did that is because Mark Ruffalo did a interview, and he discussed his role of as the Hulk in. We haven't seen the Hulk since the Avengers: Age of Ultron, and apparently in Thor Ragnarok, which is in the middle of production, Hulk is going to be having a huger role than people thought. He's going to be in it. There was rumors about that, but then he confirmed it. But not only is he going to be in it, he's describing this movie as a road trip buddy movie between the Hulk and Thor. And as soon as he said that, I was basically pulling my wallet out and going, "Take my money. That sounds awesome." Can you imagine? The Hulk's been confined to and limited to fighting things, and he's been they had to get Iron Man's Iron Juggernaut or whatever it was to Rhonda. Did they call her Rhonda? I forget.
Julia.
Oh yeah, but Rhonda was the satellite thing, right? There was a Rhonda, was it? I don't know. Either way, he had to get it took a lot to take the Hulk down when he got out of control. But what a lot of people are thinking is this is sort of a mix of what Ross maybe the rest of you will have heard of this. I think they're doing a mix of World War Hulk because the description is they go to a planet where there's a guy who puts them in gladiatorial combat, and that sounds like World War Hulk. In World War Hulk is a storyline that's very popular where the Hulk goes off. Bruce Banner tricks him into getting on a rocket ship to take him away from Earth because he's been too much of a threat. He goes into deep space. They think they got rid of him. He lands on this planet as Hulk, and he gets involved. He even has a kid through this woman on this planet as the Hulk. He mates with her.
It's essentially Hulk Conan.
Hulk Conan. Good. That's a good description. So from what I'm reading, it sounds like they're taking elements. Just as Civil War didn't completely mimic the comic version of it. Sounds like they're taking elements of World War Hulk and they're mingling them into this Thor Ragnarok storyline, and they're putting Thor as his sidekick, or whatever, Hulk is his sidekick, and they're going off together on these adventures where they're fighting the main bad guy. And also the girl that plays the villain, Hela, is played by Kate Blanchett, who played Galadriel from The Lord of the Rings, and I think she'll make a great. She's perfect for this villain. She's from Thor comics.
Yeah, according to Mark Ruffalo, Kate Blanchett is the worst of the worst as far as villainy in this
I can't
movie,
wait.
so it's going to be pretty good.
According to Norse myth, Hel is the ruler of Hell, daughter of Loki and ruler of the Norse underworld.
Right.
Not Valhalla, the other place.
But how are they going to intertwine? Because apparently that World War Hulk, whatever it is you just talked about, that's its own separate entity. Ragnarok's its own separate entity too. How are they going to combine these two storylines?
The theme. It's not, instead of him being shot off into space and sent and landed on this planet. From what I'm gathering, there's a guy who's the I think he's the brother. Okay, do you guys remember the character at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy? I forget the actor's name. The one that was
the Collector.
The Collector. Remember him? How he had all those aliens. Benicio del Toro. I'm sorry, Benicio del Toro. This character, who's the second villain, is his brother, and he was in the comic series Secret Wars in Marvel, and where he collected heroes and villains to fight each other in these intergalactic arena pits. So they're combining a sort of a version of it with World War Hulk, from what I'm gathering, and he's in it and she's in it. So they seem to be teaming up together.
So is it going to be Hulk or Banner and Thor hopping from planet to planet fighting bad guys?
Not necessarily. Well, he described it as an intergalactic road trip with the two of them. It sounds like they're going to be on a quest to go search for whatever the villains are, and then they end up in this arena at some point. So they're trying to stop Ragnarok, which is the Norse end of the world, the apocalypse.
Didn't they just have that in Thor Dark World?
It's not the same.
That was a bit different.
They also announced the casting of the girl. They finally are bringing Valkyrie. Now, Will, you and I have talked about Valkyrie. Usually she's in the Defenders, and I was hoping she was going to come to the Defenders. Apparently not. But she's going to be in Thor Ragnarok, and probably his love interest, because she always was his other love interest besides Jane Foster. And Natalie Portman won't come back to the franchise. Something happened behind the scenes, so that probably gives them an excuse to have him start hooking up with Valkyrie. The only difference they changed, which doesn't bother me, is that she's being played by instead of being a Norse blonde Brunhilde, she's being a black girl, which I don't have any problem with, because they've done that in the movies before, where they changed the gender, race, or
that's what they
culture.
did with Heimdall.
Yeah, they've done it a lot. It doesn't matter to me.
And I'm not going to complain about Idris Elba.
And
no,
also,
sir.
the actress playing Valkyrie, I like, because I saw Creed, and it's the girlfriend on Creed, and she's great. She's a good actress. So I have no problem with that. I think it's going to be good. So, yeah, so altogether, this is sounding more and more interesting. But just the idea of the Hulk and Thor having
it's Marvel. The thing is, they're you go in with an expectation it's going to be good. It's Marvel.
You do, but at the same time, just the idea, because the relationship Thor and Hulk had in the first Avengers movie when he kept punching him and all that, and they had that kind of. I'm really curious as to how far it'll go if they're going through the whole movie like that. Also, how long will he be Hulk and how long will he be Banner is another question. Does he stay Hulk most of the movie, or does he just keep changing? I think it's going to be like a 50-50. So that should be interesting.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
What do you think?
The movie.
What do you think, Anthony?
He just left.
Oh, I didn't catch that. He's be right back. All right, so I'm really curious about how that's going to pan out, but I'm very excited about it. I'm actually more excited the more that they talked about this than most of the upcoming announced Marvel movies, because I just think it sounds very. It has the potential to be fun and just a good romp.
I didn't have a problem with the first Thor. The first Thor was very well done.
I love the Dark World personally. I was rewatching that the other night because I own it on DVD, and I think it's a great movie. But
I mean, but the thing is, the first one, it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, and it was very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a whole bunch of Shakespearean mythos and ethos in it too. I love that.
A lot of people were surprised. Go ahead.
I mean, the Dark World, as good as it was, I like that. The thing is, it seems to me, everybody thinks that Thor and the Dark World, the two Thor movies, are like the redheaded stepchild of Marvel. They don't get to do. I thought Kenneth Branagh did a fabulous job as a director on that. And you look at the behind the scenes stuff that he did. That whole scene where Anthony Hopkins as Odin was expelling Thor from Asgard. That was all ad lib. Kenneth Branagh said, "Look, just make something up."
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he made it up, and he just said, "Look, I want this. Just imagine this. This is your child. This is, And he got Anthony Hopkins in such a state, emotionally, that the Hemsworth and Hiddleston were just almost in tears from that speech. They couldn't speak after it.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's cool,
I mean, the whole thing, and the sets, it was a fantastic movie. But people don't like it for some reason. I think they don't like it because
Thor's been well received. I don't know. I never heard anything negative about it.
Well, I mean, it's not been as well received as the other ones, like Iron Man.
I like the original with, the first one with Kat Dennings and
Yeah,
yes.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yes,
I thought Kat Dennings was even better in the second one.
No, she was funnier in the first one because she had more stuff to say.
Yeah, I like her in the first one. She was the comic relief.
Right, she was funny too.
I don't have a problem with the fact that Natalie Portman's not coming back.
I don't have a problem with that. No,
I don't know what happened. I haven't dived into it enough. There's some conflict.
Probably money.
No, that's not what I heard. It's something to do with. It's a personality clash.
I don't think
she and Chris Hemsworth got along in the second movie.
Either. I don't think either.
It has something to do with the personality thing behind the scenes. It wasn't the money.
Well, Chris Hemsworth is also dating Miley Cyrus, right?
No, he's not. Chris Hemsworth is happily married.
I thought he was. Which one of them Hemsworth?
His brother.
Oh, okay.
It's the brother.
I was going to say one of them's dating Miley Cyrus, so maybe that was his mental state at the time.
Chris Hemsworth's wife, Natalie Portman, couldn't film. They wanted to reshoot the very end when Thor comes back to Jane at the end of Thor: The Dark World. But Natalie wasn't available to film that part. So Chris Hemsworth's wife looks similar to Natalie Portman. You can only see her from behind. But they had her be the person that runs to him when he comes down from that rainbow bridge.
Interesting.
I did not know that.
It was his wife. It wasn't her.
I did not know that.
Because that's why they didn't show the front of her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little trivia. Because she wasn't available. Her scheduling, she had already been done. They decided to do a reshoot, and she wasn't available.
That could have been indication of things to come if she wasn't available to
do
the reshoot.
It was an end credit scene, and they threw that. They decided to do it like way
after.
after.
Yeah, but usually you're asked with doing the movie, and if they ask you to come do some reshoots and so forth.
To a degree, but I think I've heard a lot of stories about when Marvel does these end credit scenes. Sometimes they're last minute decisions.
Well, yeah. But a lot of them just show up for 2 minutes or 10 minutes, do the scene, say the line, and then they're out.
Yeah, well, we don't know.
They're so short. They're usually around 30 to 45 seconds long.
I know,
so you
but
don't
Natalie
need
might
that
have
much time.
Natalie might have had a tight scheduling window between this movie and whatever her next project was.
Again, I can't speak for her. There's a lot of different rumors going around that she didn't like it. She didn't like her role in it. Whatever her reasons are, or whatever the Marvel's reasons are, they're keeping them to themselves. Thing is, they're moving forward with a new love interest, obviously.
Well, it works anyways, because in the comics, Thor had more of a relationship with Brunhilde, aka Valkyrie, anyways. So, I mean...
it kind of makes sense, a god or a demigod in love with...
Well, he had another life. He had been... at one point in the storyline, Odin had punished him by making him mortal, and it turned the classic story of Brunhilde and Siegfried... I forget what you call it. I forget that poem.
They're siblings.
No, they're not siblings. They're the one where he lost his memory and and then they died for each other at the end. Anyways, it's a classic story, and it's a Norse story with Brunhilde and Siegfried. You can look it up.
Must not be that classic if you're the only one that remembers.
No, I just can't remember the name of the poem. It was there's been movies made about it. One of them was starring Christina Loken from Terminator 3, who played the female Terminator. She played Brunhilde in one of the movies. It was called I forget what it was called. But anyways,
well, it's sad that she's not coming back because eventually Jane Foster becomes Thor in the comics.
Yeah, but that's temporary, and just as temporary as Lois becoming Superwoman. But so I don't really care if Jane
leaves.
She's
still Thor in the comics now.
Yeah, but again, the comics, you've seen that they've deviated in the movies. They don't follow exactly the script.
Well, the MCU is a separate universe. They've even said that.
Yes, but there's numerous examples of the comics conforming to the look and style of the movies.
Yeah,
they
that's
introduced
true.
Agent Coulson. Nick Fury looks like Samuel Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I know.
Right, but again, when the comics, they can write whomever they like because they're not bound by actors and contracts and so forth. If the actor doesn't want to do it, or the actor's not available for it, and they have to move on, they'll get somebody else for the part, and they'll rewrite it or rework it.
I haven't heard any confirmation from what they said that Jamie Alexander is going to come back as Sif. I'd be curious to see how she feels about. Okay, now Jane's out of the picture. Why is he running to Valkyrie, not me? She's been waiting.
Well, have you seen the rumors about her on that new show that she's on, Blind Spot?
No.
I mean,
enlighten us.
They're again, rumors. I'm just spreading rumors here. Don't take them for anything. But apparently, she is a bit of a diva. Hard to work
I
with.
never really gathered that from her. You
don't.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
That's
and
true.
You've got a lot of people rumbling behind the sets of. Again, she has to spend like 8 hours in the damn makeup chair, so I can understand with her being a little tiff to things and getting people.
I know that she. I know
yeah, I'd be a little cranky too if I had to
too.
spend 8 hours getting
too.
tattoos on my body every day.
So
she really wanted to play Wonder Woman. I know that she was pissed that Gal Gadot got it.
Again, but I'm looking at these rumors and she's this, she's horrible to her makeups and so forth. But again, we're getting this secondhand people who she's been in that damn thing for 8 hours getting those damn tattoos on her body, and then she has to go an 8-hour shift. I mean, golly, or 8 hours. I mean. So again, no one's going to be able to be smiling and happy for that amount of time when you're trying to get made up.
Yeah, well, that's true. I did hear rumors credible rumors, but because it's a long story. But Jamie Alexander at one point was really trying to become the new Wonder Woman, and just because she worked for Marvel at the time doesn't mean she wasn't going to be able to cross over to DC. And apparently, there was a rumor that someone leaked something that was discussed between her and a DC agent ahead of time, and it kind of made DC say no, she can't shut her mouth, so they looked elsewhere, and she got pissed off. It was John Campea actually and this is just a rumor because I like John Campea. He's a good podcaster, but he used to go to the conventions with Jamie Alexander, and I remember a panel that they had at San Diego Comic-Con, and he was hinting that she had told him he was trying not to use so many confidentiality things. But I remember this one episode where he was talking about how she kind of hinted that she had been asked to audition for Wonder Woman, and then after he said that on the air, the rumors are she got in trouble because he got her in trouble for saying that because it was looking like she was leaking confidentialities, from the non-disclosure agreement. So her chances of becoming Wonder Woman got screwed up. I don't know if that's 100% true. Though there's a lot of different ways.
Well, if it is, it's her fault. You should be talking about
true.
things that you don't say.
I don't blame John Campea. I don't blame either. I don't even know if it's true.
Again, don't talk to the media. If they tell you don't talk to the media, no comments. Your best friend.
I mean, it's hard. It must be hard for some actors if you think about it. Have a couple of drinks and you're talking to somebody and you want so badly to tell them.
Again, you've got to control yourself. I'm sorry if you sign an agreement.
Yeah, I know.
That says you will not reveal this. Then I'm sorry, that's what they're going to hold you to. I mean, look what was going on with. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Axonar on the CBS. I think there's confirmation that they're taking the things down now. They're getting counted.
Alec
I mean, it's
has
just a
issues
mess.
with that.
Yeah. So I mean, everything. When you are under contract or you have a particular means of saying, look, this is our property, and they want to protect it. They're going to do these things.
I'm going to take just a couple of... I know I didn't put this on the show notes, but what Ross just said gave me an idea. I just want to talk for just a couple of minutes about this, and we won't get carried away. But it's 1701 News broke the news that Alec Peters... We talked about this a couple episodes ago, and we ranted about Axonar. And Alex Peters was... JJ and Justin Lin made a premature announcement that... Well, people say it's premature legally, that they went to Paramount about dropping the lawsuit against Axonar, and everybody's like, oh, great, that's awesome. Now, all of a sudden, what happens? Axonar decides to countersue Paramount when they were getting ready to drop it. How idiotic is that?
Yeah.
You know why they were going to drop it, right?
Because of the movie coming out and the
right,
PR,
to unite the fans so that they would have more fans come and see the movies, because there's people that were gonna boycott the movie because of the Axonar lawsuit.
Oh, they wouldn't have had very many boycotters, like 3 people with a sign.
Axonar is very, very small. compared to the response of not only the trailer for Star Trek Beyond, but also the trailer for the new Star Trek series.
The new Star Trek Beyond trailer, by the way, looks awesome. I have to admit. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the original 2 JJ movies, but this one, I actually have to admit, is starting to look like it could be really decent. But yeah, the Axanar counter lawsuit, that's just, I mean, he was getting ready to, they were talking about dropping it, and they go ahead and countersue? I mean, what the hell?
They're trying to get CBS to settle. And it looks like it was already in I don't know what's going on there, but I will say this. Something I'll repeat from this week's G&T show. Look at the views for Prelude to Axanar. Currently, the only thing that Mr. Peters and Axanar Productions, Valkyrie Productions, whatever they're called now, has produced. And then look at the views for the Beyond trailer and the new All Access Star Trek trailer. Both of those exceed the views for Prelude to Axanar by at least 10 times.
Of course. Axanar, I call Axanar it's like an infomercial on steroids because of the scams going on behind the scenes. That's my view. It's like a big infomercial, except it uses Star Trek and FX.
More like a very long and drawn-out legal drama.
Yeah, that too. I don't know. I just think it's pathetic. I just think I don't know. Maybe they timed the countersuit and they filed it before that JJ said anything. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe the news just makes it misinformed.
I'm gonna repeat something else they mentioned on the G&T show when JJ made his announcement and he was talking about what happened, saying that Justin went to the studio and all that. Do you notice who wasn't talking? Who was keeping his mouth shut?
Who?
Justin Lin.
Yeah.
He didn't say a damn thing.
Yeah, that's true. JJ was the one that spoke for him. He said Justin was outraged. Yeah.
Publicity stunt. That's all that was.
It is. Because the movie's coming out. All right. I don't want to give that topic too much time, only because...
That's probably the last bits of production that JJ's ever going to do with Paramount.
We'll see how everybody responds to the countersuit, and when we get a formal answer from the legal end, that'll be when things get interesting for an official response. But that's something to watch out for. All right, so how many of you guys watched that thing I linked, the mother with the Chewbacca mask?
I have not.
What about Will or Anthony?
I've seen her a little bit on the YouTube, and I looked at your links, and I'm sorry, I don't get why we're talking about it.
It's hilarious.
No, it's not.
I saw it, and you know what? For the longest time, I avoided watching the original video.
I did too, but
I only saw the interview with the talk show host, and just that alone, I don't even know why it's a thing.
I don't either.
You gotta watch it. It's not the fact that she's using the mask.
She wears a mask. She starts laughing.
It's her laugh. People like.
It's not that funny.
It's her infectious laugh. People
No, it's not funny.
You guys are killjoys. All right. Well, millions of other people, 120 million people disagree with you. So we'll move on.
Fine. But they're not here. They talk to them. I don't find it funny. I'm going to
contact all 120 million people.
She's got a laugh. Her laugh is just normal, like everybody else's laugh. I mean, I've heard a lot of funnier laughs than that. I've got funnier people who laugh a lot funnier and a lot weirder than her.
We need to get her on the show.
I don't know. To me, she just looks like some soccer mom who believes that everybody gets a medal and her kids are the best soccer players in the world. And everyone knows they couldn't even kick a ball.
I don't have a problem with her getting the views. I don't have a problem with her going on these late night talk shows. I'm happy for her. If she's getting to meet these stars, good for her.
She's going to probably, from what I'm hearing, she's going to get a cameo in episode 8.
Good. Good for her. But for me,
she could play Jabba's younger sister.
Or a Wookiee.
Put her in a Wookiee suit and say she's a child Wookiee or something. Fine. I have no problems with her getting all this
new girlfriend.
People want to look at her. But for me, I didn't see why her laugh is so funny. It's just a laugh. She's laughing because she thinks it's funny. I don't agree with
you on that. Her laugh was infectious. It makes people smile. It made me smile. Of course, I hadn't had a couple of beers.
No, good for you. I'm just okay. I'm blasé about it.
All right. Well,
it did nothing for me.
Took your wind out of your
Yeah,
sails there, George.
but what do you want to say about it, George? Obviously, you wanted to talk about it.
Oh, I just wanted to... Well, that was based on how you guys felt about it, but, it's all right. She's getting her due.
How do you feel about it?
I loved it. I thought it made me laugh. My girlfriend laughed. My dog barked at the Wookiee sounds.
See, I think what...
See, for me, it wasn't the Wookiee thing. This is what everybody's saying on the reaction videos. It's not the Wookiee sounds. It's her joyous laughter at just the simple things and like just trying to make everybody laugh online. And it just caught on. It was like people... Sometimes laughter is infectious, and it made a lot of people's days. There was an autistic person that the autistic person's mother contacted her and said that my kid hasn't laughed at anything. And then I showed that video, and this is the first time I've ever heard her laugh. So
good for her. I'm happy for that. But the thing is, I think her initial video is just one of those things that people view online. You go to YouTube or whatever. Great. But what they did, I forget his name. Is that Cohen guy? He's on some
James
late night
Corden.
TV
He's
show.
been on Doctor Who.
Corden, right? So he did it. What he did with her was more funnier than what she did.
Sure, I understand. But I just think it's cool that people, because there was a complaint that somebody made about, there was a documentary about something on Discovery or on a History Channel, and her video got 120 million views and destroyed everybody else, including all the political debates and the History Channel. So they were making fun of that, like, oh, this is our country. We laugh at a woman with we would rather see a woman with a Chewbacca mask than the debates on the politics and the History Channel. Well, the answer is yes, because people tune into this stuff to laugh or to get if they're having a bad day. Something like this is what people want to see. They don't want to see the dreary old news about what's going on with Hillary and Bernie and all them. They want to see, because no matter who wins, they're all going to be upset. So, somebody's going to be upset. But the point is, they want to tune in order to tune out, just to laugh for just a few minutes, because it makes them feel better. And that's basically what she accomplished. But, that's the thing. It's not just the fact it was a Wookiee mask.
According to her, she made the video for her kids to let them know that the mask belonged to her and not for them. So to me, that was a selfish move.
It was her birthday.
I don't care. Her kids don't care.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that one. The masks, by the way, the masks, by the way, Kohl's came to her house and brought all this stuff because they were happy with the publicity of this. And these Chewbacca masks, you can't find them in the stores right now. They're on eBay for $200 a pop.
It's ridiculous. Come on. Wait a couple of months, they'll be back to $10.99 or whatever it is.
Well, still, I mean, she's gonna probably bank on this, and she didn't even mean to. So that's what I love. No,
I don't have a problem with her. 50 minutes of fame, good for her.
Exactly.
But why are we talking about it?
All right, Ant-Man.
I'm wondering that as well.
What is this geekiness? What is it to do with geeks?
All right, I'll give you an example. This is what I love about today's YouTube world. People can do what they want. They can post a video. They don't know if people are going to react to it. Okay, you can just be yourself and do whatever. At the end of Ant-Man, when that guy was telling the story about how he hooked up Falcon to find out who Ant-Man was, that what he called Crazy Hot Chick, she was a cameo by a famous YouTube blogger, a podcaster. A lot of people don't know that, but I can't remember her name. I subscribed to her, but I just can't remember her name. But that chick that was in the movie that was talking to Falcon on the bench and the guy was voicing for it said, and he was with Crazy Hot Chick, and he told him, what you want? You got a guy that crawls walls and all this other stuff. He's trying to find Ant-Man. And that girl was, they grabbed her for a cameo because she was a very highly viewed YouTube podcaster, and, she got into a Marvel movie just because of that. So anything you do on the internet now, if people like it, you've got a chance of getting noticed. So I think it's cool that avenue is open for everybody, for the average person.
Is that a hint, George? You trying to get noticed?
Yeah, I think George is trying to get noticed because I must be doing something wrong because on my podcast, I'm constantly getting hacked.
What you got to do is you got to grab a kid, grab your granddaughter, and just make a video where you guys sing a song, sing Frozen, sing, do something. People.
No, with Anthony's case, he's going to get a lot of hate mail. What are you doing with that kid?
Yeah. Are you sleeping with a kid under the stars?
Oh, man. You guys are killing me. All right. Well, Anyways, I just thought it was cute. We'll see how long her stardom lasts.
15 minutes.
Maybe more. So they had a screening for the Suicide Squad movie, and according to the early results so far, it's a hit. Now, early screenings usually do have positive rave, according to what I've read. So they're going to start opening up to more general audience previews.
Well, George, I mean the Fantastic Four got rave reviews coming out of those things last year.
Did it really?
And that bombed.
No, did it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they I'd never trust people who see it early. They're getting paid to say this stuff.
Are they?
I think I don't know, but to me it sounds like these people, and they go on Twitter. Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And you go see it, and it's like, what the hell do they see? I just saw a piece of crap.
And it's possible. I am a little bit more enthusiastic about Suicide Squad for DC.
I am too. I'm not that down on it, but I don't put a lot of stock in what these people who are reviewing it early say. Because we're not getting to see it early. I've never been asked to see it early.
I have.
And did you?
No.
Why not?
Not Suicide Squad. I'm just saying in general.
Again, a movie, any kind of movie. I've never been asked to see a movie. Apparently, they were giving these things out of people coming out of a Marvel movie, the Captain America Civil War movie. They were saying, handing out these things when they went in or whatever. They got these tickets to
I was asked
come
to
see this movie.
I was asked to go see Batman and Robin and ask what I thought about the bat nipples.
Okay.
And I actually said they were great, and look how that went. Anyways, Ross, what did you think of? What do you think about the chances for Suicide Squad being good?
I'm very hopeful for it. I've heard a lot of good things from the early reviews and early impressions from sources that I feel are reliable. I'm definitely going to go see it, and I'm hoping it's going to be as good as everyone has been anticipating it will be.
I actually binge read all the Suicide Squad issues I have on my computer, and if they can capture, which the trailer suggests they will, if they can capture even an ounce of what goes on in the comics, it could be really awesome. So
probably the best thing I've heard about it is the quote was, "This is what should have launched the DC Cinematic Universe."
Ah, I've heard it's kind of a reminder of a cross between Guardians of the Galaxy and I forget the other one.
Well, they did want to catch some of the lightning from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that it's not a hot mess. I mean, you get a couple of high-end actors, and then you get some other people who are trying to make their mark in the world, and they put them all in one movie, and I just hope it isn't where each character is trying to upstage the other.
I don't think you gotta. Well, again, you gotta go by the director's history.
I'm gonna go by my own opinion and experience as a consumer of movies.
I like that. Yeah, me too.
All right.
When I look at it again, I haven't seen the movie. I've seen clips, and I'm looking at Will Smith as Deadeye. He's
Deadshot.
Deadshot.
Who in the comics sleeps with Harley during their Suicide Squad situation.
So, Will Smith, who basically plays the same character throughout every movie. You see him in Men in Black.
That's been the joke. Day. Will Smith's playing.
Now,
Will Smith
I want to see something from him this time. I want to see some darkness. I mean, this is what this character is supposed to be. He can't be jovial. He can't be happy. He can't be, the Will Smith from the Beverly Hills. He's got to be something different.
Fresh Prince. Yeah, can you imagine Will Smith as Hancock, right, in the movie Hancock? Right. I'm just waiting for him to say, but Uncle Phil, so.
See, I had high hopes for Hancock because that movie started off great. The grouch, he was nasty, he was awful. Mm-hmm. And then he turned him into this, what the hell?
This pansy,
right? Character, and then you had a great character, and then he just became this awful character in the movie.
I think one of my favorite lines in Hancock is when a woman said, "I can smell the alcohol in you." He's like, "I've been drinking, bitch."
I know, right?
I love that movie.
Right.
Yeah,
I love it how he's always talking about showing his heads up people's backside,
I love it when he's flying into the signs on the highway.
Well, I mean, that was a great premise of a movie. A drunk, nasty, horrible superhero that people don't want. People don't want him.
Yep.
Like, get out of here.
Well, even he doesn't want it.
Right, or the YouTube video where he throws the shark or whatever onto the beach.
And then
he's got to go somewhere. He can't stay the grumpy, dislikable hero the entire time.
No, but he doesn't have to become this right in the middle where he's getting. Oh, did I? You know, and then he's this fake stuff.
Then he decides to go to jail because everyone says he should go to jail.
I didn't get that whole premise of you got to rehabilitate his image. Fine, you want to rehabilitate his image, get him to a rehab. I want to see him in rehab or something. Mm-hmm. You know, get him off the booze.
Superhero rehab.
Right, or something. I mean, I don't know what they could have done with him. I don't know what what the original script was for, but they could have done so much better with that movie. And introducing another superhero, and they're lovers in the past, and they can't come together, or they start dying, and he has to leave, and it was a hot mess.
Yeah, they were supposed to make Hancock too, but it keeps getting kind of
right, and that's what I keep thinking about this movie coming up. You get all these actors, and all this talk for a while was Jared Leto as the Joker, and he's just bringing this new thing to Joker, right? And then all of a sudden now we have Harley Quinn, now we have Will Smith, and to me it's just one hot mess.
Well, not necessarily, because this is actually just the way the comics are. I mean, the Suicide Squad, the character dynamic is right. Deadshot. Now, like I said, I binge read the Suicide Squad comics about 2 days ago, and as far as how Deadshot as a character acts, from what I've seen in the trailers, so far he's pretty accurate as far as his personality.
Yeah, I just don't believe everything I read.
Well, that's the character. It's like when someone's cast to play Batman, how are they supposed to act? Stuff like that. Deadshot has never been on the big screen. He has been on Arrow, and actually he's been on Smallville too. His character on Smallville was stupid though. He was played by the old guy from Battlestar Galactica with from the first officer.
But again, I mean, you're looking at the. Like I say, I don't really have a problem with what I've seen of Harley Quinn right now. She looks great. She looks snazzy. She looks smouthy. She looks. Again, we haven't seen Leto. The thing is, they have kept Joker under wraps. We have not seen a single. I haven't.
Oh, that's not true. They've shown clips in the trailers and stuff.
Oh yeah, but
they made him like a James Dean, like exaggerated gangster.
People said this about Heath Ledger's Joker. Oh, he's horrible. You can't take this guy from these rom-coms or these things and put him in this. He was fantastic. I'm gonna wait to see what Leto does with the character. He can't do what he.
You can see a lot of what he does in that last trailer, though. He says quite a lot of lines. His laugh is pretty awesome, in my opinion.
So again, I'm going to go into with optimism into this movie.
He's got the car with the steering, the gear shift. It looks like a mic on a stage, or a podcast mic, or like a 1950s mic, and it's just in the way he acts and the way he talks like, I'm trying to think of like what the character is he's acting like. He's acting like a like a 1950s something. I can't think of the actor's name, but he's channeling somebody like he's gonna go out and get ya. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of the guy's name, but he's like
a old movie mobster.
Like an old mobster. He's a mobster Joker.
Jimmy Cagney?
Yeah! He's kind of talking like him as the Joker. He's like, you made a big mistake, kid. I'm gonna now chop you up, see? Like that, you know what I mean? And I'm not doing a lot of justice to it, but it's kind of what I got for an impression that they're going for that kind of a channeling that 50s type mobster in the Joker. And then, yeah. Or then there's this one scene when Harley Quinn in one of the trailers, and he's got these shock things in his hand, and it's from what I gathered, it's a flashback to how he makes her into Harley Quinn, because I read again the Suicide Squad comics, and there's a lot of flashbacks to how she started off as his psychiatrist in this Arkham Asylum, and he mentally manipulated her to become in love with him and help him get free so that he can and then turn her into Harley Quinn. If you watch the trailers, that you can gather pieces of what are obviously scenes of him turning her into Harley Quinn. He captures her, he tortures her, he electroshocks her, he frigs her up, and there's this one part when he's like putting the two shock things together, and he's going, "This is really gonna hurt," or something like that. And he's got that Jimmy Cagney, I guess, maybe, I don't know, whatever the gangster voice is that we're talking about. But yeah, that's the shtick I'm gathering, that this Joker is going to be like a mobster, a crazy mobster, like a crazy mobster, like an Al Capone. And I think it's got a lot of potential to be a different kind of a Joker. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's what they have to. They can't have another Heath Ledger. He has to be completely different.
Right. I mean, there was a lot of complaints about the tattoos and all that crap.
Again, I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with it either. I think it's...
It's 21st century. I mean, everybody's got tattoos, so... You can't have a Joker who walk around... I mean, he's part of the counterculture, if you will, and that's what they do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I have optimism.
All right. Now, Will, before I get into The Flash, while it's fresh in your mind, before we started the show, we actually started the show a little late so we could give you time to watch the season finale of Arrow. So while it's fresh in your head, you've got to, right out of the gate, feeling about it. I haven't seen it, but I don't care about spoilers. Tell us what happened and how you feel about it.
Okay, well, again, this season has all been about Damien Darhk. They kind of introduced him halfway through the season, and he's this mortal, but he got this magic user. And again, in the flashbacks, which I don't like the flashbacks. That's the thing I don't like about the Arrow, and they do it again. This is the thing that really irritates me, is they take you out of the moment of the intense drama that's going on with the show. But anyway, they have this idol that he found on the island that he got trained on. And basically when somebody dies and the person who's holding that idol, their essence goes into you and you become basically a magic user, invulnerable to bullets and so forth. And that's what he was using something different before. But
was it a totem from the island? Is that where
Yes, it was a totem on the island. I don't know where it's from the island.
Oh, okay.
But it was on the island, and somebody was trying to use it or get to it, and he had to go in and stop it. And that's the whole flashback, which I did not like. I didn't like the flashbacks.
So I remember the Vixen episode when they destroyed his first idol. He got a different one.
Right, he destroyed the first idol. So he then steals this idol that Queen found on the island. It was taken off the island at the end. We saw what happened to it. It was taken away by this government agency, and they obviously lost it. So he got his hands on that, and he's killing people, and he's becoming this magical being. And the thing is, right at the start of the show, right at the start of this episode, the last episode, they basically stopped the nuclear attack that was going on, and all the missiles were on standby.
Right. So
anyway, the bad guy, Damien Darhk, steals the laptop with the code, takes it back to his lair, and his hacker basically re-ups it, and all the missiles gets launched. 15,000 nuclear warheads, missiles are now being launched into space. And then they launch one from the sub or something on a ship that's closer to the star. So they, instead of having 2 hours, which is normal time everywhere else, they're only getting 45 minutes, which kind of makes it into the episode. So anyway, all of a sudden now they're up against a deadline, and then they have a lot of different fight scenes, and they're trying to shut them down, and the bad guys come in and shoot up their lair again. Their lair gets shut up again, which is a bad lair, if you ask me. It's always getting shut up. Bad guys are always finding their way into it. You need to find a better lair. But anyway, so anyway, they basically, it comes down to they basically, the missile that was launched at Star City, Felicity and her friend shoot this tight laser beam at it, trick the missile to think it's already exploded. It flies up and away and lands in the ocean unharmed, and so it doesn't explode. The people that see that, they were rioting and so forth. Queen gets up on a car, gives this impassioned speech about we got to fight for our city and all that stuff. And then right at the end, Darhk is trying to blow the city out. He's stolen the iPad, the laptop again, like you say. And he's got this hacker who's basically, he's shot, and he's got his bullet that's working his way to his spine. So he's basically forcing the hacker to work with him, or otherwise he's going to kill him slowly. So anyway, Felicity and her friends and so forth, they find him. She convinces them to let the laptop go. She shuts it down, and all the missiles are exploded in space because they trick him into exploding into space. Fine. Then the bad guy and Queen are on the street. He's fighting. He's getting his ass whooped and so forth by magic. All of a sudden, all the people from the city come in. Again, it's in Vancouver, and there are a lot of extras, so it's not the entire city. It's about 50. For them, it's a big city. So all of a sudden, they're coming in, and basically it's something out of I don't know, something old west. Like the 12 o'clock high. or Guns at 12 o'clock or something like that, where the gunfighter is going to face down the bad guy, and all of a sudden the townspeople come out and help him. That's basically what it felt like. It felt like some old kind of Western. So anyway, their positive mood negates Dark's evil or magic. So they get into a fist fight. He brings his bad guys in. They don't have guns this time, which is amazing. Every time we've seen them, they've all had guns. The villagers run at the bad guys run at the villagers, and there's a big melee in the middle of the street. And they're fighting away and so forth. And they basically, he beats him down. He takes an arrow, and the bad guy looks at him and says, "You can't kill me. You even let the guy who killed your mother escape." He goes, "Yeah, but at this time I have to." And he stabs him through the heart with his arrow.
Good.
So he's finally dead. Damien Dark is dead, finally.
Well, hopefully for good, because you know how that is. He could get put in the Lazarus pit.
Back. Yeah, he could bring him back. Well, the Lazarus pit's been destroyed. They already mentioned that. They
I have a feeling it's not for good, though.
Well, maybe. But anyway, so... Then they have the big wrap-up scene where everybody basically, there's a big breakup. You have the Avengers breaking up. You got King Arrow breaking up. Everybody's scattered. They've all gone their separate ways. They're all emotionally wrecked, basically.
They're all spent.
Diggle, he had to shoot his brother earlier in the season.
Yeah, well, his brother deserved it. I hate to say it.
Well, yeah, but he had to shoot him in cold blood. And he's been telling
it
everybody.
wasn't cold blood. His brother
it was cold blood. He shot him in cold blood.
No.
He's
going to go after
shot
his
him
family.
in cold. The brother was not doing it. He was just sitting there talking to him, and
yeah,
Diggle
but
shot
he
him.
threatened his kid and
but
his
he's
wife.
still in cold blood. If he was trying to raise a gun, then it's justified.
No.
He shot him in. But in your own mind, it is. So anyway, he's wrecked. He leaves.
It's like he told over. He wasn't going to stop.
Right. The captain and Felicity's mom, they leave together, getting away. Even though he basically got fired. He's no longer a cop anymore. So he gets fired. He gets sent out. He's left the town. His sister has left. She's wrecked too, because she's found out. She basically threatened Dark's daughter with death if he didn't let whatever go. So she's wrecked. She thinks she's turning into her dad. And then the only person left is Felicity and Arrow. And basically now, Queen has become mayor. They sworn him in, and he's now the mayor of Star City.
Which is what happened in the comics, so it's fitting along. Yep.
So he basically, they're following along the lines and so forth. But again, I like the action sequences, the fight sequences, the choreography. That's what I like about these things. And the thing I really like is Felicity. I like the actress who plays her. I mean, she's fun. She's great. She's funny. She's quirky. That's why I really tune in just to see her act, basically. But again, the thing with the Arrow, and I've mentioned it, is you've got to get rid of these flashbacks. Again, they had these flashbacks throughout these things, and it takes away from what you're living with in the here and now. I'm like, no, you're on this emotional thing. You're in a big fight, then you flip to a flashback scene. Why?
I've missed several episodes this season. Does his kid know that Oliver's the dad yet?
Oh, yeah.
He does?
I don't know about the kid.
Listen, no, I watched the Vixen episode where obviously
I don't think
everybody knows he has a kid. I just want to know if they finally told the kid.
I don't think the kid knows.
Right.
I think the kid just thinks he's a benefactor or something. I don't know, but I didn't get that impression. Introduced kid has been mid-season. They've not had that kid in there for a while.
We were talking about this earlier. I'll be honest with you. I've pretty much given up on Arrow. I mean, they're going to have to really come. The writers are they're hit and miss. Flash has been nonstop consistent. I don't know what the problem is over on the Arrow end of the CW, but they just have I just don't care what happens on that show. I love the crossovers, but I just don't care to keep up with what's going on Arrow. And
the thing is that they're taking their characters and they're making them go through stuff that is just
I think where they went too far for me was when they killed Laurel. There was just no point.
Well, but yeah. The thing with me is the flashbacks for the first the first season. I don't know who this guy was. The flashbacks actually provided context of what he was doing and why he was doing it.
Exactly.
The second season. They had the flashbacks. They're setting up the bad guy, which was Slade, and you got that, right? But the third season, to me, when I first saw the Arrow 4 years ago, I got the impression that he'd been on that island for 5 years.
I think it was 5 years, yeah.
No, but the third season, he was not on the island. He was in Asia somewhere. And this year,
right. He moved.
He came back to Star City.
Waller recruited him.
Well, he said at one point that he didn't stay on the island the entire time.
I know.
Oh, you know what's funny? I'm only for just a second going to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Just realized we were talking about Suicide Squad earlier. That's actually a major connection to Arrow because Amanda Waller from Suicide Squad was the one who recruited Oliver and got him off the island.
Okay.
She's also one of Diggle's contacts.
Yeah, Suicide Squad has always been part of Arrow.
Okay.
Anyways, carry on. Sorry.
But anyway, so to me, the characters, I mean, they always have to up. I mean, they've gone from Slade, which is a great bad guy. I liked Slade. He was awesome as a bad guy. Then they brought in, I forget even, a third season was kind of, was basically forgettable. I can't really remember what happened in season 3. This guy, again, I didn't really like Damien Dark. I didn't get why he was doing this.
They had him
on kill these people.
They had him on an episode of Legends of Tomorrow in the past when they time traveled. You met an earlier version of working with Vandal Savage. The actor is a good actor.
Oh, I have no problem with the actor, but I don't get his character in this.
Yeah, I don't either. He's in the comics, but I never really paid attention to the Arrow stuff.
Again, he's just trying to destroy the world because he wants his power. I'm like, okay. I mean, if there's got these magical artifacts all around the world, why can't you do something else? But anyway, the only thing now is his daughter's still alive, so maybe they could bring her back as a bad guy or something, I guess.
No, I'm sure they could bring him back even if he did die. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but so the thing is now, what are they going to do for season 5? I mean, they've actually had launched nuclear weapons at the world. Basically, the world has been devalued or denuded of nuclear weapons now. There's no nukes left. So, what are they going to do season 5? How are they going? They're going to bring in the asteroid or something to destroy the planet this time? I don't know.
Stephen Amell was talking on. By the way, he stars as the guy with the hockey stick in the next Turtles movie. Whatever the guy's name is, Casey Jones.
Casey Jones.
Yeah, so that's cool, but that's a side thing. No, he was talking in an interview I was watching earlier today, and they got a lot of stuff going on. Where season 5 is going to mostly focus on Arrow becoming part of a larger picture with Supergirl, Flash, and everything going on with that. It's going to be more of a, instead of all being about him, about getting involved with the larger world order for heroes, which is basically setting up one of the topics I'm going to talk about later, which is the Justice Society, which came on Legends of Tomorrow at the end of the season. So
right, but I mean, they have to get all of these characters. They've taken them into these. I mean, they've killed family members. I'm like, why aren't these people getting a little peace and quiet for a little while? And because they have to ramp it up. They got to have a bigger, badder enemy every year.
It's a network TV show.
Well, it's not just that. They've got a big plan now. I was going to, one of the big things I wanted to talk about tonight was the Flash season finale, which we will talk about. I'm just, the only reason because we're talking about this now, I'm going to jump only. No, I'll wait. All I'm going to say is later on when I talk about Legends of Tomorrow, something's happening that is setting up for the CW that there's been a lot of speculation, but not just speculation, things they've hinted at in interviews about where things are going for all the CW shows, and there's a big plan. Arrow, what's happening on Arrow is they're not just compartmentalizing what's going on with Ollie and Arrow in Star City and what's going on with Barry in Central City with Flash and what's going on with the Legends of Tomorrow and all that. They've got everything that's happening to them is making them lead to where they're not doing so well when they're doing it solo, and that's why things like the Justice League, the Justice Society, and groups get formed in the first place, and they're leading up to that mentality that things are getting out of control out there, and we need a bigger group of
hire better writers.
Well, no, I think if you give them time, I think there's a reason why.
Well, they've got Flash, they've got Supergirl, they got the Legends. Those are pretty tight shows. I mean, they've only had 2 seasons with the Flash. I mean, Arrow's in its 4th season. Maybe this happens in these things. They just start getting loose after 3 or 4 seasons.
I think the reason Arrow suffers is because it was the first CW new relaunch shows of superhero shows, and that's the problem. They were experimenting with Arrow. They branched off.
Yeah, I think
they spun off Flash. They spun off Legends of Tomorrow. By the time every time there's a spin-off, the show that gets spun off has the benefit of when the new writers do those shows, they have experience from learning what their mistakes were from the show that started the whole thing, and then they spun off. For example, All in the Family, Maude, they spun off from Good Times, they spun off from Maude, stuff like that. Like whatever the first show was, is either going to keep doing good or they're the ones that are going to suffer because the writers figured out what they did wrong, and so the spin-off shows are going to benefit from that. And I think that's where Arrow's is suffering. Is they were the first one that came out in the CW. They didn't know how successful it was going to be. It ended up branching off the Flash. From the Flash, he branched off Legends of Tomorrow. But Arrow himself has the same writing team, even though they have the same head producer, Greg Berlanti. I think that it's suffering because there's only so much you can do with Arrow because he doesn't have his superpowers like the Flash does and the people in Legends of Tomorrow.
Right, but the thing about the Arrow is, same with Batman, is his secret identity. I mean, it's a dual identity. They've kind of taken that away after the first 2 seasons, where he's no longer this billionaire playboy because he basically took his money away, and they basically took his mojo. Now I think now that he's the mayor, you get that duality back because now he's the political leader, but at night he's going to be a vigilante.
Which means
he's breaking the law.
And that's going to be hard for them to pull off because if you think about how busy a mayor would be to be able to sneak off and do that, I mean, that's the realism.
Yeah, and half the city knows he's the Arrow, so...
I wouldn't say half, but yeah.
Right? So, again...
Yeah, season 1 and season 2, I'm the Arrow. I'm the Arrow. You're the Arrow, how'd you know? You know, that's all we heard.
That has been one of the themes that the little sub-things that have happened on both Supergirl, Flash... Actually, all except for Legends of Tomorrow because they don't care. But Supergirl and Flash and Arrow is like, oh, I've told too many people. I trusted too many people. I just whipped my mask off. Hey, it's me.
Like I said, I think with the Arrow, where they lost it was when you lost... To me, like the first 2 seasons, when he's playing that Playboy billionaire, and he's having to... Kind of like with Batman, and he has to play Bruce Wayne.
Playboy billionaire?
You know, Playboy billionaire.
I never heard of a Playbearer, but okay.
Hey, that's a new show coming out, Playbear.
Playboy billionaire. Excuse me, I'm getting my words tangled because they're...
Yeah, but Playbear sounds cool.
A lot of P's and B's. But,
old age would do that.
Shut up! We're talking about your little escapade in the hospital today, or yesterday. But anyway, the thing to me has always been funny about the Arrow is the duality. That's what I like about Batman is this duality. You got this guy who plays this suave, person during the day, and at night he becomes a vigilante. And again, now that they've introduced him as the mayor, again, finding ways, they'll work ways into it. But now he's going to be a vigilante at night, and he's going to be the law-abiding citizen during the day.
Well, we'll have to see how it pans out. Although I've lost interest in Arrow, I like the character and I like the actor Stephen Amell. And I like how it connects to the bigger picture of the CW universe. So it's just as an individual show, there's I'll see clips, and then if a certain episode, like Vixen, for example, if a certain episode stands out to me, I'll check it out. But in general, I'm not consistently following the show, which is a shame. But I just don't have any interest. But that doesn't mean it's not a good show. Just for me, it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like you can only do so much without certain characters that just where it gets boring to me after a while. I don't mind supporting
Speaking of teams splitting up, same thing happened in the finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
We'll talk about...
Well, yes.
All right, well, let's save that for the end. Or not the end, but near the end, because quite frankly, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't interest me. But I also didn't put in the show notes.
Seems like nothing interests you lately.
No, it's just... I have made my opinion of it... That doesn't mean we can't talk about it just because I'm not interested.
I think the only thing that interested George this week was Chewbacca Lady.
Right.
No. All right, I'll tell you what. Before we
that sounds about right.
All right, before we go on... Okay, I'll be fair. Before we go on to the Flash topic, which was next...
No, let's talk about Flash. Let's talk about Flash.
All right, well, I'll give Ross... At the end, I'll give Ross a couple minutes to talk about S.H.I.E.L.D. All right, so... I am one happy mofo because the Flash season finale...
It was good.
We not only called it a couple of weeks ago when we speculated that Jay Garrick was his dad in the Earth 2. Well, it turned out Earth 3. When he puts on the helmet, okay, so for those that haven't seen it, by the time you hear this episode, it doesn't matter. Jay Garrick, there was a man in the Iron Mask that was captured by Zoom, and the Zoom had been pretending to be Jay Garrick, the original Earth 2 Golden Age Flash with the helmet that has been around since the 1940s. And it turns out... And okay, so before I talk about that, way back when the Flash was announced and it wasn't out yet, and they announced John Wesley Shipp, who played the original Flash in the 80s. When they announced he was going to be on the show, they didn't say who he was going to play at the time. I actually had made a call. Oh, I hope he plays Jay Garrick because he looks just like him now.
A lot of people did.
Yes. And then it turned out he was playing Barry's dad. I'm like, oh, okay. But
did you see the thing that I posted about that interview they had with him?
No,
He basically talked about that. I sent a link to you.
I'll have to check that out. I didn't see that. But so by the end of this episode, it turns out that Earth 2 Barry's dad was Jay Garrick, the real Jay Garrick, and he puts on the helmet at the end, even though his
and the costume.
He had the costume, which I posted on Facebook, the Jay Garrick from the comics next to the Jay Garrick as what John Wesley Shipp, and it was like that moment when he puts the helmet on and the music that they play. Man, I like rewatching that scene over and over because I loved that character from even before this show even came out, and he was the first Flash. He was the Golden Age Flash, and he looks like him. He's the right age. He's got the gray hair. It just fits. And
the thing is, right, yeah.
And Legends of Tomorrow, which was I was going to talk about this later, but I'll kind of explain why I'm going to mention it now because I'm not going to really get into it because John couldn't make it tonight. We were both going to talk about Legends of Tomorrow.
Then can we finish talking about Flash first before we move on to Legends of Tomorrow?
All right. Well, there's a reason why I was going to bring it up. It has to do with,
then go
Jay
ahead.
Garrick.
Go ahead.
Jay Garrick. Okay, so at the end of Legends of Tomorrow season finale, they introduced that they're going to be bringing in the Justice Society of America next season. They brought Our Man from Justice Society, which was the original pre-Justice League. He came out of the time ship and told them, my name is Rex Tyler, which is Our Man. He said, I'm from the Justice Society of America. Now they're saying next year it's going to be all about the Justice Society. Now, they were on Smallville for one episode. And they did the whole homage thing. You even saw, like, Our Man, like, paraphernalia from them in these glass cases, that they were a 70s superhero team, and Clark was looking at their posters and their paintings and all this stuff. The Justice Society of America was actually the first comic that Jeff Johns, who now runs DC, did. And he also is a contributor to all the CW shows. So the Justice Society is very well known, it's very popular, just as much as the Justice League. Jay Garrick was always one of the founding members of the Justice Society. So when this guy announced that the Justice Society is involved starting next season, and then this episode comes out where this is why I want to talk about this now. When he puts on the helmet and Jay Garrick's out there, what that tells me is that there's a chance they're going to make Jay either already be a member of or join up with the Justice Society and be mixed up with this crossover they're going to do that they announced, because he's always been a member of the Justice Society. So there's a lot of stuff that's making comic fans geek out, and now that they've properly crowned, pun intended, the proper Jay Garrick, and then they introduced Our Man, the potential for bringing in the Justice Society now is just mind-blowing. I mean, CW's got it going on. So
but I want to talk about, because again, I watched John Shipp, the original Flash from the 90s, and I loved that show. I loved that show. And when he was on this, even though it was just as the father, which was a great tie-in, right? And he wasn't basically in that interview that I sent you, that thing that he did. He talked about it. He said when he was first approached, he thought it was great that he was just going to be the dad, and they weren't going to have him in many episodes. And he's going to be the first season is basically him as a sounding board for Barry when he needed the shoulder to cry on. Then the second season when he got out, he's like he couldn't be around because he didn't want to just be the second, the third, fourth, fifth wheel or whatever it is behind. So they just let him go for the majority of the season. And then once he lost his powers, he needs his dad again, so he brings him back, and then they kill him. And they didn't tell him that he was the Flash. They didn't tell him that he was Jay Garrick. He was the guy in the suit. They didn't tell him that until a couple of weeks. Right, he didn't tell him that until a couple of weeks before they were going to film his last episode. And then they said, "Look, this is it." And so they gave him. They told him, and he puts the suit on. He puts the helmet on. He says, as soon as he walked onto the set, everybody started applauding.
Yeah, as soon as he put on the helmet, I couldn't. I actually felt choked up. Because I'm so into that character,
but
he looked just like him.
His jaw dropped when they told him. He said, "I couldn't believe it." And then they told him what they want to do with his character. Obviously, you're tying it into Legends of Tomorrow. He's like, "Wow, this is going to be great." Because he says he's definitely he's already said he's definitely coming back for next season. That's what he said. He said, but I can't tell you anything else. He says he will be back.
Well, Kevin Smith hinted that there's so much going on with the Jay Garrick character, but now I know what he's talking about. At the time, I wasn't sure.
So it looks, it was fantastic right at the end.
Just like I said, if you haven't read the Golden Age comic or any of the Justice Society comics, you're not going to get that same fanboy thrill out of it like I did. But when he puts that helmet on, it just, that moment and the music that they picked, it was like, holy crap, that's Jay Garrick. It was like absolutely perfect, and I almost wanted to just get up and start clapping, but I didn't. But, I wanted to. But, I mean, it was just awesome. And then,
why not? You're in your house and nobody's around?
I've done it before.
I yell at my TV. I yell at my TV when they screw stuff up on the characters. I'm always yelling at Barry Allen that he's an idiot.
I yelled at the computer a lot while I was playing Overwatch.
They never explained where he got the costume from, because they didn't go back to Earth 2 to go grab this costume to bring it back over to change into it. That's a minor quibble.
Obviously, he had it with him. He had it as a bag. They just brought him back to get him out of there. So I don't know.
Well, somebody explain Earth 3, guys. I know Earth 1 and Earth 2, but Earth 3?
There's multiple Earths.
I know, but he's supposed to go to Earth 3. They haven't even mentioned Earth 3 at all.
No. He just said that.
Until today.
George skipped over a majority of the episode.
Yeah, we're going to go backwards.
The Zoom has said, look, I have been to multiple Earths. And he wants to basically destroy. He's been to multiple. He basically said when he discovered his super speed or the speed force, he wanted to get faster and faster. So he created the serum, and it allowed him to go into different realms, and those ghosts started to chase him around. And he said basically he captured this guy. He was going to bring him back to his Earth and was going to steal his super speed from him, and it didn't work. That's why he had to put him in the mask. They had a thing that would prevent him from speeding with that mask. That's why he wore the mask.
In the comics, Jay Garrick came from Earth 2, but in the show, he comes from Earth 3.
But that's fine. Yeah,
there's 52, at least 52. Well, they said infinite in this show, but there's at least 52 alternate universes. But there's, it's he just said Earth 3 because he was trying to figure out which order he's from. In the show.
Wait, he didn't know where he was from?
He figured out it must be Earth 3 because it was going because Zoom defined the Earth that we're on in the show as the prime Earth. So anything that branches off from that is linear.
See, Zoom was trying to destroy all the other Earths and collapse them into our Earth, and then he would rule our Earth as a god or something. And basically, Barry stopped him. And the thing is, did you also see the thing I sent you about? He could become the Zoom now. Could become what the Black.
The Black Flash, which is from Blackest Night.
Right, because basically when he had his face mask ripped off and the ghouls were circling him, he became a skull inside of it and it turned all black. That he could become the Black Flash.
So for those that don't know what that's all about, there's a storyline in DC called Blackest Night. It's a Green Lantern thing, but basically the Black Lanterns, Necron, who leads the Black Lanterns, starts raising the dead of all the killed superheroes and everybody. And Barry Allen had been dead at this point, and he was raised as the undead Black Flash. And he looked just like Zoom looked when the race were carrying him away.
Right, so he was a zombie.
Right, basically. So he could become...
Side note, I just finished the Star Trek Green Lantern crossover by IDW.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
It's good. We gotta talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll give you a chance to talk about it after. Definitely. Put a bookmark on that because I want to talk about it. Link it. But, so Black Flash, like he just said, is a big hint because when they carry that, Zoom's definitely coming back because if they had killed him, that would be one thing. But what they showed the race do to him was more than an homage to the visual effects of Blackest Night, a callback to that as far as a undead Flash, basically.
But what do you think the future holds? Because he saved his mom at the end.
They're obviously
Flashpoint
paradox without Batman.
He went back and he saved his mom, which he said he would never do, but he did because he's like.
And Will, you know what's funny? I thought of you when he did that because every podcast is saying what you used to say. What is up with Barry not learning from? I'll give him one thing though. He had just lost his. Somebody pointed out. Hold on, I got to burp. I don't want to do it. Okay, so. I will give one credit to something somebody said on one of the podcasts I watched. In Barry's mind, if you look at it from his point of view, he's tired of these villains taking his parents from him. First it was Thawne, and he took his mom, and then it was Zoom, and he took his dad. So he figured, I can't save everything. But fuck this. I'm going to go back in time, and at least I'm stronger, better, more powerful. I beat Zoom. And I lost everything because of these bastards.
But
I'm going to go back. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to save my mom. Screw everybody.
He lost his dad because he screwed up. He did not have to open that portal. Well, he did. Zoom. He did not have to open that portal. Zoom was on Earth 2.
I know.
And they were on Earth 1, and they could not open the portal. He was
trying to save the other worlds too.
He did not have to open it.
All right, well, either way, if he hadn't, think about it now, he would have figured out that magnetron trick on the other world, and his world would have, well, actually, no, wouldn't have. Anyway,
he couldn't have got the speed, because he didn't have another speedster.
Yeah, that's true. Well, okay.
He needed Barry's speed.
Granted that he made those mistakes, but in my opinion, his mindset was, he was on this rush. He just beat Zoom, he beat the impossible odds, his dad had just died, he's all screwed up. He confessed to Iris how messed up he was in the head, and then he ran off and said, screw this. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna take control of what I can take control of. And he didn't care about the consequences. He just went back and did it. Now, that set aside, he messed up big time because he doesn't know what's gonna end up happening when he gets back. Nobody may remember anything. He may have screwed everything up from the timeline for the consequences. Now, Ross, I know that you didn't see the episode, but I did post you the end scene, so you can at least you've seen it. Well, unless you didn't watch it, that one scene, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
So knowing what you know about, because you've watched the first season about how Barry's mom died. Did you see at least the season finale for season 1 where he tried to save his mom and then he couldn't?
I haven't gotten past the pilot yet.
Oh, all right. Well, anyways, I'm gonna spoil it for you because screw it. When you get to the season finale, he does get to the point where he goes back to try to save his mom. His future self tells him not to do it. He kind of gives him a no, don't. So he stops and he watches his mom die, and then he goes to talk to his mom as she's dying on the ground. But he realizes he had to let it happen, or else it would have screwed the timeline up. So for him to do this, he knows he's taking a huge risk, that everything he's accomplished could be undone and screwed up even more randomly by what he just did. So what everybody's flipping out. They're like, Barry, what's wrong with you? You grew so much as a character, and then you just suddenly went, screw this, I'm just going to screw it all up.
And that's my problem with Barry Allen. They keep on making these major mistakes. Again, I don't know what they're going to do with season 3. They're obviously setting it up for something.
Yeah.
But it just makes me mad.
Well, keep in mind, they're bringing in Supergirl in this big mega crossover, and I'm thinking that whatever he did, maybe that's going to end up affecting why Supergirl is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, again, it could be. Could have written that up. Maybe in one thing, maybe they've just changed it because of now they have Supergirl, and they
maybe he collapses time and space so that there's no multiverse, or they merge
at
together.
At least Earth 1 and 2 merge together, because they've got to bring that Doctor and his daughter back, because she's now a speedster as well, right?
Well, they went back to Earth 2. That's the most frustrating part. That her and Wally have powers. They do, but they haven't let it happen yet.
They haven't manifested yet.
Right.
But she's going to be a speedster to bring him back, because he's the doc, he's the smart one, and Wally's going to get his speed. Then they have, they have the Flash, from the Earth 3, Jay Garrick. Well, he's a speedster now.
He's technically on Earth 2 with those two. He hasn't gotten home yet.
No, they'll get it. They're going to say they'll send him on. It's like a train depot. They go from station to station, so they go from one to another.
I got a feeling what's going to end up happening is he like I said, he was always meant to be on Earth 2. And like I said, on Legends of Tomorrow, and John and I will get more into it next time, but Legends of Tomorrow ended with the reveal of the Justice Society of America. Now, we don't know if they're from Earth 2, like they were in the comics, or if they're from the future Earth 1. Completely up in the air about all that stuff. But if they're bringing the Justice Society in, my guess is that Jay Garrick didn't get out of Earth 2, or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Again, we're speculating. Again, I love Flash, and I love the characters, but they could be doing, again, they're setting Barry up with constantly making these stupid mistakes, and they need to, because they got to have the new agitators for the next season, but just makes me mad when he's...
You know
to
why?
Me it is.
Well, it's an emotional reaction. He keeps getting hit with a lot. His dad gets killed in front of him, I mean, yes, the Speed Force kind of tried to tell him, you got to deal with this. This is going to happen. But right as soon as they told him this, that same episode, he comes home and goes, we're going to beat Zoom. And then he kills his dad. I mean, it's kind of hard for him to process all that.
And then he tells the girl, hey, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right. And then, right at this one, he says, I can't be with you. And
In
he
the
runs
comics,
off.
here's a little trivia. I remember this comic to this day. Originally, Iris was killed by Reverse Flash at a costume party where she dressed up as Batgirl, and he used the vibrating hand in her brain. He put it right through her head and killed her back in the 80s. I remember that comic. I never forgot it because I used to love the Flash. And I even remember what the cover looks like. It shows the Flash and Batgirl dancing because he's pretending to be he's just dressed up as Flash for the costume party, and so everybody's dressed as superheroes. And then Reverse Flash corners her in a room, and he vibrates his hand right through her head, and they did panel by panel where you see her die, and it was very gruesome for a 1980s or actually late 70s comic. But Reverse Flash killed Iris. So, I mean, she's always meant to be Barry's woman, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. Anthony, you watched the episode, but you haven't commented a lot about it. You've reacted to what we've said, but what did you think?
I just thought it was a little confusing. I did like the original Flash, the guy with the old school helmet with the wings on it and stuff, and they were going to give him his own universe. Turns out to be the dude's dad. But, I didn't like the, dad died, and the guy says, love is going to make you weak, so he decides to go date this chick now. We've been friends, we grew up together, we have the same dad. Let's be boyfriend, girlfriend, let's give it a shot. And then he runs off, I can't be with you.
There was a couple episodes I know that you missed.
This dude is worse than a sewing machine, in and out, in and out.
Right. He's just back and forth. I mean, it's like with the Arrow. I mean, they're putting these things. I mean, like, why are they going through these emotional ups and downs? I mean, their own self. They're driving themselves. A lot of them. I mean, they're just causing their own earthquakes, if you will.
I definitely want to next week when John's back. I definitely want to talk a little bit more about Legends of Tomorrow because I know most of you. I know Ross has maybe seen parts of an episode.
I haven't seen it. I'm going to wait for it to come on Netflix. It should come to Netflix,
like I told you guys one time in the chat. I'm predicting by the middle of the summer because they just finished their first season. That's the only reason it's not been on Netflix. But I'm telling you, you're going to love it. It's like Doctor Who if he picked up a bunch of superheroes and a couple of supervillains and took off to go do a mission. I'm telling you, as the season got more and more into it.
So it's got like rubber. It's got like rubber
no.
monsters and Daleks with plunges on their head.
They do a lot of Doctor Who homages, though. You're going to like that. Trust me. They do. The producers.
If you're a Doctor Who fan,
I actually like. See, the thing with Doctor Who is the graphics. I mean, their effects were all because I mean it was BBC. They didn't have a lot of money, but the stories were fantastic.
Well, I'm talking
and
about
I loved
modern.
it as a kid because I watched them all live. Because
so did I.
Back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, I watched them live on BBC, and
they do a lot of callbacks.
They were fantastic stories. But the thing with the new Doctor Who and the old Doctor Who is they basically wrap it up in one episode. Whereas the old Doctor Who, they had like a four episode cycle where one episode would end on a cliffhanger. Doctor Who's about to get crushed. Doctor Who's about to get vaporized or something.
They still do that.
It was the same episode though. They just broke it up into multiple parts. But anyways,
yeah, there are 2 parts all over the place. It was more prevalent.
I'm talking about the classic Doctor Who. They had like 10 parts sometimes to one episode.
4 or 5 episodes.
He's talking about the new ones.
Yeah, I'm talking about the old ones.
But the new ones, cause I remember with the Eccleston, there was just one and one and one and one and one.
Eccleston's was all 2-parters almost.
No, I don't remember that.
No, they weren't. There was only
one. They were usually split up.
Some of them, not all of them. Like the season finale, like the parting of the ways and the Oh, okay. So we'll definitely talk Doctor Who sometime. But
let's get back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think.
Well, whenever BBC decides to start new freaking episodes.
They're coming. Yeah, they're coming. They already
blame Stephen Moffat. He's the
no, it wasn't his fault.
He's not in charge anymore.
Right, it wasn't his fault.
He's been
fired?
fired?
They got a new guy. Chris Cherbold, the guy from Broadchurch.
Well, I heard the guy who's playing Doctor Who doesn't want to play him anymore.
No. We're talking about the showrunners. Chris Moffat is done with Doctor Who after this next season, and then Chris Chibnall from Broadchurch is taking over as the showrunner. Moffat's gone. He's leaving. He's on his last season.
We're
not talking about the
legs.
actor.
Is that what you're saying? He's on his last legs?
Yeah, we're not talking about Capaldi. We're talking about the producer.
Okay.
Capaldi has not announced he's
leaving. He hasn't? I thought I heard rumors that he was
rumors. He hasn't said anything to that effect. We got the new companion coming on. They've already shown a trailer with her. She seems funny.
They got rid of the cute chick?
Yeah,
I like the cute little girl.
She took off in her own TARDIS.
Jenna Coleman?
She left her own TARDIS.
Yeah, they got a black girl now who's going to be
Arya as her companion.
Jenna Coleman got her own TARDIS, dude. She's off on her own TARDIS.
She's not. Is she a Time Lord?
No, but she's got her own TARDIS.
She's kind of undead.
Yeah, she's undead, and
she's a zombie.
She has an immortal chick. The girl that plays the girl
Anthony,
from Game
she get
of
along
Thrones,
fine with her.
The girl.
I know, right?
The girl from Game of Thrones, the blind went blind there, Arya Stark. She was a character on all last season. She was kind of implying that she had a lesbian crush on Jenna Coleman, and at the end of the season, Jenna Coleman's TARDIS got stuck as a diner, and she's wearing a waitress uniform, and they took off in their own TARDIS as a companion group to get ready to go off on their own adventures while the Doctor forgot all about her because his memory was wiped.
Okay.
And so he picks up a black girl from London.
Yeah, and her name's Bill.
Black girl named Bill.
Yes, that is her name. They did a trailer for it. She's actually very funny. I actually am looking forward to it.
Is that like the opposite of the guy named Sue?
I'm gonna link it to you after when we get done with the episode. I'm gonna link you the
boy named Sue.
Probably short for Billy.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it, because you post all this Doctor Who stuff.
I haven't watched Doctor Who in a while.
No, it's not Doctor Who. The trailer was shown like in the middle of this hiatus.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, when we get done with this episode, I'm definitely going to link you because I think you should watch it because I think you're going to laugh. It's their way of introducing the new companion. They did the same thing with Amy Pond before she showed up as a way of introducing her. What you're going to see when I show you the trailer is not an actual episode. It's not an adventure you're going to see on the show. It's her.
Let me ask you this: have they taken Doctor Who off Netflix yet?
Yes.
Okay, so then that's where I used to watch them.
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
I don't
Prime,
have
Amazon streaming.
But what you're going to see, when I show you the trailer, this adventure that you see them in this trailer is not ever going to be shown like on the show. It's meant to be it's an adventure that's meant just to introduce the companion without actually being an official adventure that you would see in an episode. It's sort of a little. They've done this before with Amy Pond. It's sort of just a way of promoting her to introduce the audience to. Because at the end of this little trailer, when they're fighting the Daleks. She's like asking the doctor who the Daleks are, and it's funny. I'm not going to get into it, but it's really funny. But at the very end, they go introducing so and so as Bill, and I think you'll understand when you see it. But this adventure that they're going through, you're never going to see what happens afterwards because it's not actually an episode. It's just a made-up little adventure that happens at some point in the middle of all their future adventures. That's not meant to be linear or part of the story.
Okay.
Anyways. So that being said, Ross, tell us about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and what you were going to talk about. I will find the link for Will while you're doing that.
Ward is dead.
Yes, he is. Thank God.
Completely dead. Ash.
But so
is Lincoln, yeah.
Yes. So he had to sacrifice himself.
It took a little while to build up with what Hive was planning to do, and finally getting to see Hive's real face was well worth the wait, and the couple teases we've had along the way.
They've gotten better. I mean, I've only kept like I said, I'm going to wait for now once it comes out for Netflix, I'm going to watch them all, but I haven't seen I did watch the final also.
But there was a lot of build up, a lot of uncertainty, and a nod here and there to Civil War with the Sokovia Accords. But in all, the movie didn't have that much of an effect on the show. Going forward, on the other hand, I'm not sure where they're going to go from here. Right after Hive and Lincoln's death, they jumped ahead 6 months. Sky's gone rogue, or Daisy, as she's called, has gone rogue.
I didn't get that. I mean, once they're in the base, and then they jumped 6 months ahead, and then they're chasing. That was a weird disconnect for me.
Not only that, but apparently Coulson's no longer the director. I don't know who's director. I'm hoping it's May. It's probably going to be somebody completely different. But it looks like S.H.I.E.L.D. is on its way to becoming real legitimate, and Coulson and the team are still on board, but the dynamic is completely changed, and we don't know how or why. It's just, bam, 6 months, everything's different. See you guys next season.
I kind of like when they do the jumps like that. They did that successfully on the Alias with Jennifer Garner. They did the two-year jump ahead, and then you got flashbacks, what happened in between. But let me ask you this. Do you happen to know how the ratings have been this year?
I don't know. They've been they've been good enough that they've been renewed for another season.
They've been renewed.
I have no problem with the time jump. I think that when shows do that, it's a reverse of a flashback, and I kind of like it sometimes.
Yeah, but in this case, it's so jarring, especially with so many changes, especially after all the buildup that's been going on over the season, as a way to give you some context. About midway through the season, right after Hive came back from the alien planet, they encountered an Inhuman who was able to have precognition. He was able to see small events from the future, and one of those was a death of a teammate. It was just a glimpse of one of the Quinjets in space, a crucifix on a chain, and a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo jacket. And you don't know, you know someone's about to die. You don't know who's about to die until that very end. The signs kept swapping from person to person to person throughout the rest of the season. So much buildup, so much tension, and then suddenly the release, the climax, and then this epilogue that just, it's such a jarring transition. I didn't like it.
I didn't either. I mean, they had it nicely wrapped up. The guys were dead. They were alive. Then you jump ahead, and Coulson and I forget his teammate hunting him down. They got these newspaper clippings with this earthquake girl going around destroying things. Obviously, you know it's Daisy. And so, and she's meeting with this woman. I've not watched most of the.
That was the wife of the precog guy.
Ah, okay. So meeting with him, and then she disappears. They're chasing her. They didn't catch her. Find out that Coulson, who was the new director? I saw
it didn't say.
of him.
All he said was
the actor,
that let the director know.
I've seen the actor who's playing him. I've seen him before. Maybe I know who that actor is, but I don't know who his character is.
They didn't give any hint on who the new director is.
But it was very weird, very weird.
And then the post-credit scene where, also shortly after Hive made his return in Ward's body, in Ward's rotting skin sack, they met a doctor who's a transhumanist, a guy who's trying to advance humanity, continue evolution through the use of cybernetics and genetic enhancement. And he's talking to his AI computer companion, going through everything that's going on, talking about his work with Fitz and Simmons, but then tells her, oh, it's a very special day. It's your birthday. And then you see the silhouette of a body. And somehow that's supposed to be important. This is supposed to be profound somehow. But we've had no lead into this. We've had no inkling of what's about to happen here. Just that, oh, hello, AI in a body. Ultron?
Yeah. Well, this is why...
Does no one learn from their mistakes, Barry?
Right. These things, they're all doing the same thing. Maybe that's one of the downsides of superhero movies, is they always have to have the next bad guy lining up, and so they have to have a way for these characters to constantly stay in flux.
Marvel's done a pretty good job of keeping things dynamic
on the TV show, because they only have like 2.5 hours.
I mean,
they've got 23 episodes. That's why I'm wishing these episodes were like 15 episodes long. These seasons instead of 23.
Well, it's why it works better on Netflix than it does on ABC. It's really quite simple. Like, look at Kingpin. He works because you have Netflix. They plop all the 13 episodes or whatever, and you can build up this character. And I mean, but with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when you've got a network type show where it's like week by week,
23 episodes. 23.
So the problem, I think everybody should have done.
That's a lot of episodes. It's almost saturated. It's like watered down.
I kind of agree. The Flash pushes it too with how many episodes they have.
Right.
But by the time you get to the end of it, you're satisfied. But then they know that people are not patient enough to go flying through them all, so that's why they do those winter breaks and all that crap. But I think they should shorten the seasons. I think that's becoming the norm, like on Netflix. Just shorten the seasons, get to the point, don't drag it out as much.
It worked for the 2 seasons of Agent Carter, rest in peace.
Right, I wish they'd bring that to Netflix. The thing is, now CW...
No, it didn't, obviously, or they wouldn't be gone.
With CW now has 4 superhero shows. They could have Arrow and The Flash from September to December. And then they could have Supergirl or the Legends of Tomorrow, January through May, or January through April, or, the end of February through May. I mean, they couldn't do that, right? 13 episodes each. And then you could have them crossing over the December or something.
Actually, hold on. Stephen and Mel did mention what you just were leading into. He was talking about in the interview I was watching earlier about when they do the crossovers, it's actually totally separate from how they schedule and film their actual individual shows. So they have to treat this crossovers as a sort, even though the crossover might occur, for example, on Arrow or on Flash. Now they're doing a 4-way crossover with Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, and Arrow. He was saying it's going to logistically be a big challenge for everybody because they're going to have to schedule around their normal production for each show. Because you can't just make it smoothly part of an episode. You have to treat it as a separate production when you do the crossovers. And he said it doesn't work the way people think, where you just do your Arrow episode and it happens to be part of the crossover with the Flash. They have to treat it as a separate thing.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
But again, if you reduce the number of episodes per season, and then had a break between the fall seasons or the fall shows and the spring shows, you could fit that scheduling in. You have a month and a half between December and January where they could do that filming for the crossover.
I agree with you. I think they do go. I think
but
the 20-something episode format is old school, and
it's not going anywhere, and I think that's what's causing decline in TV rate. People don't want to sit from August or September.
The actors don't either. That's why Mulder and Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny were willing to come back for that new X-Files. They were talking about how the 20-something episode format burnt actors out. But if you do it 12 or 13, they've got more of a break, and they're willing to come back to work.
And the thing is, the stories... The writers and the directors and so forth, they can get a nice, crisp, like doing 13-hour movie.
Short and sweet.
Right, but I mean, it's at 23. They got to have filler. They got to have dialogue. They got to have all this stuff that they got to fill in. Whereas if it's 13 episodes, you can have nice, short, crisp episodes.
It works for Doctor Who. It can work for everybody. It works for Jessica Jones. It works for.
Everyone gets a love interest. Look in your scripts. You get a love interest. You get a love interest. You get a love interest. We have 23 episodes.
Look under your chairs.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. 13 episodes is good. That's a lot of meat. You could chew that and ingest it, right?
But then they also break up. And then they get back together.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You got to have room for the script for them to get together, tease, break up, decide, made a mistake, get back together, and then up and down, to dramatize the typical CW romance crap.
My girlfriend's been making me sit through Grey's Anatomy, and God help me, I'm getting into it. Same thing happens there.
Hey, I used to go through Days of Our Lives for the same reasons. But I've had 3 ex-wives, so anyways. All right, you guys. I need to wrap it up because we're getting close to the 2-hour mark. Surprisingly, with the limited amount of topics we had. But that just is a testament to the fact that any topic, if it's interesting, can be discussed for a while. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. There's so much to talk. I'm sure there's going to be so much news that drops at any random time that we're going to want to talk. Now, there's a lot. The CW shows have all had their finales for a while. So that news, we're going to find other things to talk about. Don't you guys worry. Whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, Anthony's
Apocalypse is this week, right? Apocalypse is this week.
As is the Warcraft movie.
Yes, and we'll talk about the Warcraft movie and I'm not going to.
It's going to be several weeks before I see Apocalypse, but it's all right. I'm not going straight away.
Yeah, Apocalypse. I mean, where I work happens to be right next to a movie theater, so I probably will get more opportunities to watch movies. So we'll see. There's a lot. We'll have to. There's plenty of other topics besides the CW shows because they're all on their breaks now. Summer's here, almost, and I'm sure that there'll be just a lot of things popping up. So we'll
video
just keep,
games. We need to talk about some video games.
If we have to fill in some time with video games or other topics while we have nothing new to talk about on TV, so be it. We'll find things to fill out to keep people entertained.
Well, as long as it's geeky,
as long as it's
geeky.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this was episode
James Brown then.
Exactly. Well, this was episode 15. So we've been out for a while now. We're getting there. I checked the email, by the way. You remember that guy Bob I kept telling you guys about? Well, now he's not blaming me or Anthony. You know who he's blaming now?
Will.
Exactly.
He's blaming me?
He's blaming Will.
For what?
The apocalypse that's to come.
The apocalypse?
He blames
We've
us.
survived how many of those in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said Super Geeks is like the devil's tool.
Wait a minute, I've not heard this. Who's this Bob character?
Yeah, you have. We talked about this on a couple episodes.
Oh, then I forget it. I deleted him from my brain.
He's just some guy that keeps blaming us for why we suck, and Anthony pointed out, but he keeps listening.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole point, yeah.
So now I'm the blame. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm sure Ross will be blamed next week.
I am the Antichrist. There you go.
I'm sure Ross will be blamed next week. But anyways, so if anybody wants to find us for whatever reason that you feel sick or twisted, it's SuperGeeks7 on Twitter, SuperGeeks99 on Gmail if you want to be like Bob and send us hate mail, because I don't read it anyway, so you can do what you want.
Hey Bob, shut the hell up.
Yeah, no, it's okay. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me, and everybody out there, have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time.